Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Phantom Inc. from Allplay. Hey, future Alex here. I'm about to dive into the teach and review and all of that stuff, but I realized I forgot to say something super important. This is an Allplay game. Allplay is a channel sponsor, and when I cover Allplay games, while Allplay is a channel sponsor, I try to make a disclaimer so that you know that. This review is not sponsored, and they have no say over how I review their games, but they are a channel sponsor, and that does mean there's a bias in play, so I want to make sure you have the information to decide if this is helpful for you or not. And with that, let's go back to the where we left off. Phantom Inc. is a team-based game in which the two teams playing as psychics and mediums try to figure out what the word is before the other team does so. The way the game works is you're going to have a card. You're going to have the clue givers on each team. So I'm going to take a look over here, and let's take a look, and we're going to go ahead and have, let's say, a caterpillar. Caterpillar is going to be our word of choice. See, these cards over here, this entire deck, are just to help you get a starting word. So caterpillar, let's go ahead and write it down. Now keep in mind, this side over here would be the clue givers. Both sides are it. For the economy over here of time, I'm just going to write it down on one person. Caterpillar is the word. Ignore my handwriting. There we go. That's our word. That's caterpillar. Then the other side of our team over here, they're each going to have a bunch of these question cards. Each side is going to have it. Each team effectively is going to have these. And so let's go ahead and have them ask me a card. What they're going to do is they're going to take a look at their words over here. We have what genre of movie or book is most likely to feature it. That could be a fun one. And then we also have what's an incorrect way to use it. Keeping in mind, by the way, that they don't know the word is caterpillar. So they're giving questions based on what they think might help define things. So they go ahead, they submit these to me, I take a look, and I say, what's an incorrect way to use it? There's so many incorrect ways to use a caterpillar, we're going to reject that question. They get it back, or they don't really get it back. This goes off to the side. It's not going to be answered. I choose from their two questions, what genre of movie or book is most likely to feature it? And so I'm going to go ahead and write down children's. Okay, so I'm going to do children's. It's a little vague as a genre, but let's go with children's right now. Anyways, from there, what I do now is I take a little bit of a turn to be the psychic. So I take my little Ouija board over here and I go, ooh, ooh. Basically, ignoring the woos, I'm spelling out the word. You don't need the Ouija board. I could say C-H-I-L, which, especially if you are tight on space, if you're playing this game on an airplane or traveling in a car, maybe the Ouija board isn't the best way to do it. It's great for the vibes, but it's unnecessary. You spell out the word C-H-I-L, and at any point, they can say stop. So, for example, I say C-H-I-L, and they go stop. They think I'm saying children's. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not, maybe they think something else. But the other person doesn't know the question. For all they know, I was spelling out Chili's because it's a restaurant. The other team doesn't know the question. I know the word, caterpillar. They know the question and I know the question, but the other team does not know the question. That's the key part of the game where they have a partially spelled word that they think they know the full spelling of the word, and they have the question to help guide them. They'll go ahead in their little book over here, they'll write down children's, or they'll write down CHIL in order to track the words being given. The other team will do so on their board as well, but they have less certainty as far as what it is, and that is basically a round of clue giving. The other team does the exact same, and then you replenish up to 7 question cards. Other team will do the same. I don't know, I'm doing this randomly. Other team will also look at their things. They might go, what kind of people have or use it? And they might go, what would you use to destroy it? Okay, this is where we're going to get a little bloody over here. What would you use to destroy it? Maybe we start spelling out, ooh, H-A. I'm spelling out hammer. I don't know why. I don't know. No, insecticide. Insecticide. That might be too open because insecticide might be too repellent. What would you use to destroy a caterpillar? That's so rough. Poison. I guess bugs and poison. Okay, we're going to go with P-O-I and then S. And they stop because they realize I'm probably spelling out poison. Maybe they stop me by P-O-I because they have the context of the question being asked. The other team, though, sees I spelled out P-O-I-S and they're like, what else could possibly be P-O-I-S? They might also know that I'm spelling the word poison, but they don't know the question I'm using to ask that. For all they know, I'm spelling out poisonous or poisoned. It could be multiple interpretations of that same spelling, even if you have it dialed down to a specific root word. That's the basic idea. You go back and forth, taking turns asking questions, well, not only back and forth between the teams, asking the clue givers questions. At any point, you can, instead of asking a question, you could submit a guess. When you do that, you take control of the Ouija board, or you can spell it out loud, and you say, I'm going to go spell out C-A, and you spell out the word you think it is. At any point, if you're wrong, your psychic, your team member, stops you and says, "Oh no, stop! You're wrong." Like if you thought it was an ant and you spell out A, they immediately go, "Stop! It's not that." The other team knows you are trying to spell out ant, but they don't know what you actually were doing. You don't submit a guess. You don't say ant. You spell out A, and you'd be immediately wrong. So even your wrong guesses might not give the opposing team too much information. That's the basic idea. You have one common word you're going for. Then you have teams that are trying to spell out or submit questions and then spell out answers as they go, trying to stop the psychics or the mediums before they give too much information in order to get as much information for your team while minimizing the amount of information that the other team has. That is how you play Phantom Inc. So, review time. What do I think of the game? The game is very charming. I will say the Ouija board, as much as I made a big deal about how much you don't need it, I have played with it every single time I play this game because it is fun. It's very fun to go the little, I don't know why it's so fun. It's fun. It's fun to do the little gamification of it. You also do have space and end. If they don't stop you, you just go to end. If it's a 2-word, you can space it out, so you have those tools as well. But overall, the Ouija board, the charm of the game, that's all. It's a solid atmospheric game. Again, I would not use the Ouija board if I was trying to play it in a car, because this could be a great car game. You just have a few boards, a bunch of cards. You don't need a lot. The Ouija board can just be put off to the side for the next time you're at a table. Overall, the game is it's one of those team games where you're trying to figure out what the thing is before the other team does so, while working with some degree of shared information and some degree of unique information. And that's a good combination of tools. And the fact that you stop the person from spelling at multiple points in the game is a big part of the strategy of the game. Having a unique question and then being able to stop people in their tracks, it results in an interesting combination of team and intercept where you're working towards this shared knowledge, but you don't actually have fully shared knowledge. When I think of games like this, it's always a tension and a balance as far as how do you have enough information passing across the table so that there is this interesting intercept or even just who gets there first, but at the same time not having perfect information, because perfect information just means it's whoever's smarter at the game. That's not what this is. This is about that hidden information and what your team has access to. Overall, it results in a fun time. It is playable at 3 players as well. I think the box says 3. I mean, I know it's 3. I'm trying to see if the box says 2. Because in theory, you could... Yeah, the box says 2. 2 to 10. So you could just play it as a... trying to figure out, what are the 2-player rules? I'm realizing I don't know if I know the 2-player rules. The 3-player rules is one person can be the psychic for both parties. I don't think I actually have played this 2 players, and I'm not sure how that plays. But overall, for me, this is a game that is best at 4+ players. It is best when you have that team dynamic, because that's the main idea of what this game is trying to do. Everything else is just trying to give you a way to play the game that doesn't result in that main dynamic. Overall, my biggest criticism of this is that I think there's a lot of these team-based party games out there, including from Allplay themselves. They have a Message from the Stars, there's Decrypto, that's not from Allplay. There's a bunch of these games, Triangulation, that's one from Allplay, again, these intercepting dynamics. And so the only question for me is whether this one stands out in a crowded genre. Overall, for me, I don't really have a pros and cons list over here. I like the game. I like it. It's fun. There's not a ton of things to criticize. There's a small aspect I didn't get to, like when you get to these spots on the track, you get an extra piece of information where you can kind of ask for a letter on a previous clue. There's small things like that, but the main game dynamic is ask a question, get a partial answer, and get better information. It's fun, it's good, it's solid. Rating and final thought-wise, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. I've had fun with this one. Biggest criticism is I think I like other games that do this slightly better. As far as other game recommendations, I mentioned it already, but I'm going to say that Triangulation from Allplay is a great game that has that intercept dynamic that I think is more clever and interesting as far as how it works. And then Decrypto is one of my favorite games of intercepting information, party game genre, but very much a mind game and an enjoyable one at that. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you found this review helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.